Hi guys, welcome back to Happy High Tarot. I am back again with another pick a card reading. In today's reading, we're going to find out what the person on your mind likes about you and what they don't like about you. Now, this can be anybody, whomever you feel like thinking about at the moment. This can be your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband or wife, or even your crush, provided that your crush knows that you exist, right? If you wish to book a personal reading with me, you can contact me on happyhightarot@gmail.com and you will find all the related details in the description box below. So for pile number 1, we have this white crystal. For pile number 2, we have this black crystal which has some white stripes on it. And for pile number 3, we have this purple heart. So you can pause the video and meditate on the piles to make your selection. Once you're done with that, you will find the timestamps in both the comment section as well as in the description box. So make your selection and I'll see you on the other side. Hello group number 1. So if you guys chose this white crystal, let's see what the person on your mind likes about you and what they don't like about you. We will take a look at Spirit's message for you later on. So first, let's begin with what they like about you. So for that, we have the Hierophant, the Chariot, Hyena, and Llama. So group number 1, you guys are fighters. There's a very heavy soldier spirit coming across with the Chariot card over here. You know what you want and then you just go for it. There's no backing down after that. So you're basically a go-getter. And they really admire that quality in you and they like that. With the Hierophant over here, you love to help people, you love to give advice to people. People also really like to come to you to seek help. You're also somebody who is very knowledgeable and very, very intelligent, and they look up to you for that and admire that and appreciate that a lot about you. There's also with this black and white a sense of yin and yang, which tells me that whatever things or whatever qualities they lack, you make up for it, and they couldn't be happier about how you guys together make a perfect whole. You have all the qualities which they lack and vice versa. So together you're both very good. You also have very strong leadership qualities which come very naturally to you, and they like that as well. You don't like to follow the crowd. You don't like to do things which everybody else around you is doing. You might be the black sheep of your family for some of you. And it can be the simplest of things. For example, if it's a Netflix series that everyone just wouldn't shut up about, but you haven't watched it yet because you don't want to. And this isn't because you're trying to be cool by not watching it, it's just because you simply don't want to. I'm not saying you wouldn't have given it a try, but you did not end up liking it, and so now you won't watch it. Basically, with you, there is absolutely no question of peer pressure. Nobody can pressurize you to do anything that you don't want to do, and mostly you do things that other people aren't doing. Whether it's your clothing or whether it's the choices that you've made in life, you've basically set an example for other people by deciding to take the road less traveled by. You're more that kind of a person. You march to the beat of your own drum and they appreciate that. You're also somebody who sets very clear boundaries for other people and for themselves as well. So you know the point beyond which you don't have to step, and you don't like a lot of intrusion into your life and into your privacy either, and they admire that about you as well. You only reveal as much about yourself as you think is necessary, and nothing more and nothing less, which is not something that a lot of people possess. Usually people when they're speaking, they get carried away and they reveal a lot about themselves, but you don't do that. You know, in that sense, you're consciously always very active about where to put a stop. You're also somebody who's very, very kind and caring. If you're a parent, you're a very good parent, and regardless of whether you're the parent of their child or somebody else's, but you're very good at it and you're doing a very good job, and they can see that, and they like you a lot for that. Now let's see what is it about you that they don't like as such. And for that we have the Five of Swords, the Star, Hero or Heroine, and Child Orphan. So with the combination of these three cards over here, what this tells me is that they think that you run away from confrontation. So group number one, this doesn't have to be something that you legit do, alright? This is just their viewpoint. Maybe they're mistaken, or maybe this is something that you do, but subconsciously, so you're not really aware of this pattern that you've created for yourself. But they think that you have this tendency to run away when things get heated up in an argument. You say whatever you have to, but when the other person starts talking, you're like, nope, that's it, I've had enough, and then you just storm off, and they don't appreciate that. They also think that you have a very slight amount of superiority complex, which they don't appreciate. There might have been times where something about the way you behaved or something that you said made them feel like you think that you are above the rest, and they don't like that. They also don't like the crowd that you hang out with. I mean, of course, it's your choice, but they don't think that that's good for you, that that's a good crowd for you. They also feel like there are times when you are perhaps immature, and it is because of your immaturity that you're not able to tell what's good for you and what's bad for you yourself. But you're also not interested to listen to their opinion, which is seen over here with the Five of Swords. So these are some things about you which they don't like. Now let's see what is Spirit's advice or guidance for you today. So for that we have this card over here which says Atman. Through this card, what Spirit is basically trying to tell you is that you have started your journey towards spiritual awakening. In this process, every day or every few days, you're discovering something new about yourself. Spirit doesn't want you to stop doing that, because the better you know yourself, the better you'll be able to present yourself in front of other people. So that is something that Spirit wants you to work on at the moment. Alright, group number one. So these are all the messages that I have for you today. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up and let me know now in the comment section below. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number two. If you guys chose the black crystal, let's see what is it about you that your person likes and dislikes. Later on, we'll take a look at Spirit's message for you today. So first, let's begin with what is it about you that they like. So for that, we have Ace of Cups, the High Priestess, Butterfly, and Rhinoceros. So group number two, you guys have a lot of love in your heart, lots of it, so much so that it kind of overflows every now and then. You have a lot of compassion and kindness in your heart. You love peace for the most part of it. Whenever anybody approaches you for anything, you try your best to help them out. With the High Priestess over here, they also admire and appreciate the vast knowledge that you have on a variety of things. So they see you as someone who's very, very intelligent and very wise beyond their years. But the High Priestess and the Butterfly in combination tell me that although you're a very social person, you're selectively social. So you might not be having lots and lots of friends, but whatever the amount, for the most of you, I would say it's not a very huge number. But with those people, you hang out a lot. So your social life is very active. It's just that it does not involve a lot of people. So you don't grant access to yourself that easily to people. And they like that about you. You're also somebody who's very, very creative. With the Rhinoceros card over here, this is where the duality kicks in your nature, because while on the one hand you come across as someone who's very gentle and peace-loving, you can also be very, very bold and fierce when need be. You're very brave, you're very courageous, You're always ready to fight for what you feel is right. You're always ready to fight for the people that you love, to protect them. So basically, you're not somebody who should be dismissed at the face value, because your face value is that you're someone who's very shy and timid and very gentle. But actually, what that personality hides and what you don't let a lot of people see is this mighty rhinoceros inside of that. Just in itself, if you compare a butterfly to a rhinoceros, you would understand what it is that I'm talking about. Now let's see, what is it about you that this person does not like? So for that, we have Queen of Swords, the Fool in reverse, Gossip, and Child Nature. So group number 2, here's the thing again about this duality in your nature. You might be having Gemini or Libra placements in your chart. While on the one hand, you're so kind and compassionate and good to talk to and very gentle, on the other hand, you can also, your words might sting, with the Queen of Swords. She has a very sharp tongue. You are not afraid to call a spade a spade. That's not what their problem is. They feel like you can sugarcoat things before presenting them, which you don't necessarily do. So your manner of presenting your point, especially in an argument, is very blunt, which can hurt and perhaps has hurt this person as well a couple of times, which is why they took notice in the first place, and they don't appreciate that. With the butterfly over here and then the Fool in reverse, again the duality kicks in, which is basically about, although you're very interested to explore new things, but it takes you very long to convince yourself to get to that point where you're ready to actually try new stuff and new things. So it's almost like you want to transform, but you're your own blockage in a lot of ways. You create blockage for yourself, which they don't understand. Also, compared to them, you're not very optimistic. Now, of course, everybody doesn't have to act all lively every day, but compared to them, you're not very, very optimistic. Also, you're not as big of a risk taker as they would expect you to be. Given this fierceness that you have inside of yourself, they would expect you to be braver when it comes to taking big decisions and taking a leap of faith, which you don't. You hold yourself back, and they don't like that because they can see that you have the potential. But again, like I said, you create blockage for your own self, which is what they don't appreciate. With the Gossip card over here, you might be having this tendency of gossiping about people behind their back. When somebody confides in you, tells you something because they are confident that you won't tell anybody else, but you do that. And they have taken notice of it and they don't like it because they don't understand why you would betray someone like that. Again, this is their viewpoint. It might not have to be true. Maybe you don't do any of these things and this is just something that they think. But then again, it might be a subconscious pattern that you're not yet aware of. Regardless, this habit of talking about people behind their back is not something that they appreciate. With Child Nature over here, they think that you're not very mindful of the environment. They might be very heavy on the whole thing about, they might be an environmentalist, very, very concerned about it, but you don't match up to their level, and they don't like that. They might be an animal lover, but you're not, so they don't like that either. And the second message that I get from this card is that there is some hobby of yours which started out as a hobby, but it has now become almost like an obsession and they don't appreciate it. For a lot of you, this might have to be related to nature, of course, so it can be gardening or something else along those lines, which they don't like. When it started out, they might have been enthusiastic about it and might have even supported you as well. But now that they see that it is transforming from a hobby to an obsession, they don't like it. But of course, maybe they're wrong. Who knows? You would know. of course. Alright, now let's see what advice does Spirit have for you, group number 2. So for that we have Pran. Again, see over here, this looks like a butterfly with the wings, and we got the butterfly over here for you as well. This again reiterates the fact that you are a very creative person, and Spirit would like you to explore that side of yourself way more than you're doing right now. Maybe you're not. You know you're creative, but maybe this is something that you haven't explored yet a lot. Or maybe you've just dismissed it, thinking that you're not perhaps very good at it, but you are. And Spirit wants you to take note of it and try to improve your skills and try to explore this creative side of yours more. It doesn't necessarily have to be art and craft. Whatever outlet of creativity you have, whether it is writing or singing or dancing or whatever the hell it is, Spirit basically wants you to spend some time doing those things, which maybe you're not doing at the moment. If you are, great, keep up. If you're not, start doing that. It's going to help you. Alright, group number 2, so these are all the messages that I have for you right now. If you liked this reading, do give it a thumbs up and let me know down in the comment section below. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 3. So if you guys chose this purple heart, let's see what is the person on your mind like about you and what they don't like about you. We'll take a look at Spirit's message for you later on. So first, let's see what it is about you that this person likes. So for that we have Justice, 6 of Pentacles, Dolphin, and Horse. So group number 3, right off the bat, you guys have a very well balanced personality. There is no extreme of any one aspect of yours. You have a flair for all things right. You don't like it when people do wrong by you unnecessarily, and neither do you have any sort of tolerance towards that kind of an attitude being met to somebody else. You don't appreciate it. By nature, you're a giver. You love helping people. You feel very deeply for people who are less fortunate than you, and in whichever way possible, you try to help them out, and they see that and they appreciate it a lot. Of course, you might be a Libra, or Libra might be present prominently in your chart with the Justice card over here, but doesn't necessarily have to be. You're also someone who is very good at taking fair decisions. There's absolutely no biasness. You might be taking some time to arrive to a conclusion, but it's always the best. A lot of your friends and family might also be approaching you every now and then to help them out with decision making, and you do that fairly well because you're so good at it, obviously. You're also someone who, regardless of your age, has a young heart, and they appreciate that. In general, you like your environment to be happy, you like to stay happy, you like to be happy. You're the kind of person who, when enters a room, automatically the whole scene gets uplifted. Just by talking to you, just by spending time with you, you can brighten up other people's moods. And this person is absolutely in awe of this characteristic of yours. With the Horse card over here, if you're a parent to their child, or in general if you're a single parent, then you're absolutely acing the whole parenting thing, and they can see that and they really love that about you. They notice how you have given a degree of independence to your child. You don't impose your decisions on them, not just your child, in general also. When people come to you for advice, you put across your point, but you don't impose it on them. It's up to you whether they want to take it or leave it. You're also very high on your imagination. It's very creative. You have a different way of looking at things, which is very, very different from the usual. They see you as a very caring and loving and fierce at the same time, but almost like a magical being. And that's what they find attractive about you a lot. How is somebody so mature and yet so much fun to be around at the same time? It's a very interesting combination, and they really like that about you. Now let's see what is it about you that they don't like. So for that we have Four of Wands, Two of Pentacles, Damsel, and Child Wounded. So group number 3, if this is someone whom you're not yet married to or not in a very deep commitment with, then they feel like you're stalling it and they don't appreciate that. For a lot of them, they feel like you have other options too, and that is what's keeping you confused. And again, they don't like that about you, because what they don't understand is that when it comes to other people or when it comes to yourself, you're so good at taking decisions. Then why is it that when it comes to them, you're so confused? So they don't understand it, and therefore they don't like it. If you both are in a commitment, then it might be possible that a lot of you find it difficult to strike a balance between your work and your home, and they don't like that because it's mostly work for you and less of home. Although whatever time it is that you're spending at home, you're doing very good, but they perhaps want more. They want to see more of you, and they don't get to because your work keeps you occupied. But again, for the most of you, the strongest message that's coming is that they think that you're still not sure of them and that you're still not sure of this relationship, and they don't like that. They also feel like when it comes to other people, you're so quick at helping them, but when it comes to yourself, something happens to your sense of judgment. It's almost as if it gets clouded and you depend upon somebody else to come and rescue you, and they don't understand why you do that. Sometimes you might act like situations around you are very pathetic, even though they're not, and you might pretend like there's no coming out of it and that you've gotten yourself into a very horrible situation, even though things aren't like that at all. So there's basically a sense of drama over here, which they don't like. Group number 3, what I would like to point out over here though is that this is their point of view. It might not necessarily be true. We're just taking a look at their energies towards you. Also, the other possibility is that these are things which you legit do, albeit not consciously. So you're not aware of this pattern that you have created for yourself until today when somebody points it out. With the Child Wounded card over here, what they don't like about you also is that you have this tendency to keep grudges. You hold grudges against people. Even though you might forgive them, you don't forget. And there's this tit for tat energy coming from this card. So you're basically almost always on the lookout for when and how can you get back at someone for doing wrong by you, because like I said, with the Justice card over here, you have zero tolerance for people who wrong you for absolutely no reason. This person, on the other hand, doesn't understand why you have to be like that. For them, this is something that's very trivial, something that you can let go of, but you don't. So they don't like it. Alright, now let's see what message do we have for you from Spirit. So for that we have Kriya. What this card basically tells group number 3 is that Spirit has taken notice of how much you help other people and how deeply you feel for their problems. What's happening essentially is that when you do good for other people, it gets added to your good karma, and now eventually all that is going to come towards you in the form of different blessings in your life. That's happening. The second message that we get from this card for you is that you need to go with the flow. Although with the Dolphin card over here, I would say that most of you already do live like that, but for those of you who don't, this is the kind of energy that you need to incorporate slightly more in your life. You need to let go of things and just go with the flow and not fret too much about what's going to happen tomorrow. Alright, group number 3. So these are all the messages that I have for you at the moment. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up and let me know down in the comment section below. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.